Live from New York, it's
Rats of the Roundtable.
Hi, I'm Leah Lamarr.
And I'm Bella Hull.
And welcome to Rats of the Roundtable.
Please do not listen if you are operating heavy machinery, are a blood relative, or an ex-boyfriend.
We are not responsible for hurting your feelings.
Welcome to
Rats of the Roundtable.
Oh my god, that table's like so round.
That's so round. That's so round. Oh my god, that table's like so round. So round.
I'm here. And Liz here.
I'm here.
But Leah grew up here, so it feels more exciting that I'm here.
Yeah, because to me it feels just like a toxic household.
Yeah, it feels like you're returning to the scene of the crime, aka your birth.
I'm like, this place again? Yeah, it feels like I came here and someone has already like peed on my head. And
I'm really sorry about that, by the way.
yeah, I was kind of rude, but
I was just too excited. I'm sorry.
I mean, but at least I can drink your pee. But if I drink my pee, I die.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, like if you're in the apocalypse, you can drink someone else's pee. You just can't
I
drink
would
your
have
own pee.
assumed you can't drink your, like, I would rather drink my own piss.
But it's toxic to you. That's why it's coming out of your body.
Oh, but other people's piss is fine?
Hey guys, welcome to Rats of the Round. Well, apparently you're supposed to put it through a filter, but then it's drinkable.
I think I saw that on a disgusting clip once.
Yeah, and
Bear Grylls.
I trust the internet
Uh-huh.
more than I should.
My piss is quite clear, actually, at the moment.
Oh my God, I'm so dehydrated at all times. My pee is like neon orange.
That's because you have black coffee, that's end of sentence, and processed meat.
I feel seen.
But I love that about you.
Yeah, that's my whole diet.
It's kind of an identity.
I don't think I've ever had a sip of water.
You don't want one now? This is gorgeous.
Ugh.
I came off an 8-hour flight 5 hours ago and I feel like a dry mollusk.
You look like a wet mollusk, if that makes you feel better.
I feel like a snail, which is really the wettest animal I can think of, but like in a dry way.
Yeah,
You know, when you feel oily and dry?
I get that. That's how my pussy feels at all times.
Yeah. Just covered in a film.
Yeah, it's funny because I do look at your face and think, that does look like my vagina.
Yeah. Well, that's really nice.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's beautiful. What I'm trying to say, it's beautiful.
We're in New York.
Oh my God, I cannot believe we're here.
We're doing special New York episodes.
It's very cool. We met in the middle.
We met in the middle between
Betwixt London and Los Angeles.
yeah, which is New York, I guess,
Mhm.
or someplace on the ocean, maybe.
Wouldn't that be fun if we did an ocean episode?
Yeah, let's do a high seas episode.
That sounds great. But only if we steal from people. Like we're just pirates.
Yes, yeah, we have to like bomb a cruise.
And someone has to get scurvy, but I've already had it, so I don't want it again.
You've had scurvy?
No, but I did have scabies, which I think might be similar.
Kind of sounds similar.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really embarrassing when you have to tell your boss you have scabies.
How do you get scabies? I don't know what it is, but let me just guess what it is.
Okay.
Bitten by wild creature on street, body covered in scabs. I think what I'm doing is I'm marrying scab and rabies together.
That is so perfect because the men of New York are the animal that bites you.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like technically an STD, but it's not.
Okay.
So you get it from skin to skin contact. So you could get it if you like shook someone's hand.
You could get a hug.
You could get it from a hug, but it's not necessarily in your like genitals unless you have it on your genitals, but you have it for 2 weeks and it's basically just a living organism that's underneath your skin that just forms these extremely itchy rashes.
So Stu's just texted, scabies is an infestation of the skin by the human itch mite.
Itch mite.
The human itch mite.
Who made that? That sounds fake.
That sounds like a
fake.
wrestler. That sounds like a professional wrestler's name.
That actually is a
The
iconic
microscopic scabies mite, I think I know this man, burrows into the upper layer of the skin where it lives and lays its eggs. Oh my God.
It's so itchy and it's so gross. And I had to tell my boss I had it because I could not physically be in the office because I couldn't stop scratching.
Okay, Stu's asking if you could lay eggs, where would you lay them?
On a person's body or just anywhere in general? If I could lay eggs.
I think I would lay eggs.
Do I hate this
Well,
person?
at the moment I'm feeling really, I just arrived in New York and I'm feeling really inspired by New York. So I think I would lay my eggs on the top of the Empire State Building.
That's so romantic.
Or maybe on the top of the pointy of the Chrysler Building. Just one egg.
And which is balanced on top very gently.
Perfectly balanced.
Okay.
Like you know those old men that like do stone balancing on the beaches?
Oh my God, white men do not do that in America, but yes.
British men who like only eat like beans and maize, and like don't have any friends and live in like wooden houses.
Yeah.
Do stone balancing.
Honestly, those
in
men
the UK.
sound ideal to me.
And they've got so much facial hair.
That's
And they
so
just
hot.
balance stones and they don't speak for weeks at a time.
They sound spiritual.
I think they are.
They sound like cult leaders.
I think they are. But it's kind of like the cult is for one. They don't
How do I sign up
assemble. I don't think that they assemble.
I want to sign up for that cult. Also, this just in from Stu. Urine is not sterile when it leaves the kidneys and it must pass through the urethra and come into contact with the skin as it leaves the body. Bacteria is present in the urine, even that of healthy people without infections. Drinking someone else's urine may expose a person to numerous diseases. Okay, whatever. So I guess I'm not going to drink your pee.
Yeah, so maybe don't do that.
Okay,
Like,
so don't pee on my head again.
if you can avoid it, don't piss on the head.
I refuse to believe that it's not good for like conditioning or something.
It's like I've seen so many TikToks about like rice water.
Not to make this about you, but remember when you told me you peed in your ex-roommate's shampoo bottle?
Oh my God.
Oh my God!
Wait, I did do that. And actually, can I tell you? Now?
I do think about that once a month and it scars me.
I got the wrong shampoo bottle. Did I tell you that?
Did it go into your own hair?
No, it went into like a girl who I live with that I really, really likes shampoo bottle.
Okay, you totally forgot to mention
And
that part.
once I realized that I'd done that, I felt so just like, oh, I think I'm a mentally unwell woman. When actually what happened was I'd been driven to the point of mental unwellness, which I think is a different thing.
I think it's a different thing. It's chicken or the egg, really.
But my flatmate did something a bit worse than me to the person that was going to leave. Okay,
What
this
did
is
they
context.
do?
Well, the girl that lived with us was fucking awful. She was crazy.
Yeah, she
And,
had
like,
to be bad if you wanted
she
to
had,
pee
like,
in her shampoo.
She had a physically threatening aura to me.
Okay.
The whole time.
Hot,
It was
but go
like
on.
it was like a sort of. I was like, oh, I'm 25 and I'm being physically intimidated every day. Like that's how it felt. Anyway, my other flatmate is really good with mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
She's
you did tell us this, by the way.
STEMmy. And
The
have I already
keyboard?
said this on the?
You did, but it was so beautiful.
Yeah, deconstructed a keyboard, put an anti under each key, put it back together again. And she just told me in such a sort of deadpan way. And I was like, yeah, I think I have respect for
There's
you.
like one or two screws loose if you're just, or maybe she just, actually that could be like very normal behavior for someone who works in the government, like the CIA.
What it is like processing your emotions at that in the moment.
But okay, but
You can't let things fester.
I think unscrewing a keyboard and putting things underneath each letter is just like cheating on someone. Because it's not something you decide in the moment. There's like several mistakes that lead up to this where you could stop at any time, but you're like, no, I'm going to go through with this.
I'm with the whole hog. Yeah. Do you think that it's healthy to do that to someone's keyboard?
No. but it's like
I kind of think
it sounds like she deserved it.
she deserved it. I really believe in revenge, actually.
Most women do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because whenever you watch these shows in America, you have them in the UK too, I think, but they're called like Snapped, or it's always about someone who gets murdered and it's always a romantic relationship.
Sure.
And it's always the woman just suddenly snapping.
She snaps and kills the guy.
But it's interesting because it takes a woman so long to get to the point of like extreme revenge. But the men will just kill everyone. They'll be like, we're just kill the whole family and start again as if no one even
noticed. The men
noticed.
just like kill a woman because the woman's like, I'm not free on Tuesday afternoon.
It's like, fuck her. She's out.
Yeah.
If I can't date her, no one can.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of processing emotions, one of the things that happened in my childhood was, have I told you about the florist thing? Have I already talked about this?
This is like a parable from the Bible.
I was in a florist with my mum. This woman who's in the florist immediately starts sobbing, heaving, crying.
Yeah, you have told the story about the flower pot falling.
Yeah, and then when she finally stopped crying, the woman that worked at the store was like, what happened? And she went, a flower hit me on the head. And my mum really used that as a teachable moment to be like, you can't let your life get to a point where that happens and you're having that breakdown. You've got to That's because you've denied yourself the breakdown before, you know?
Yeah. This feels like something I read in the Old Testament. It's just like, it feels like it's next to Noah's Ark. You know what I mean? One of those great lessons in life.
Yeah, totally.
You're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah, just say New York.
New York.
And you got
I
it.
feel very, very self-conscious of the way that I talk here. I immediately feel ridiculous.
What?
I feel like I might as well be like waving a feather cap around.
Well, where is it?
Because my card wasn't, I think I didn't tell my bank that I was coming here.
Yeah.
And so it just blocked my card from buying a Metro card. And the woman was like, oh, is the machine broken? And I was like, no, I just think my card is foreign. But the way I said it, I was like, why are you talking like that?
Isn't it funny how our credit card companies act like your mom and dad? Like you have to tell them where you're going.
Yeah, they're like,
and
we
when.
declined that for you, by the way.
And you better be home at midnight, otherwise your card won't work again. It's like, what?
Yeah, no.
It's like, why can't I just spend my money?
But I do feel very in love with New York and immediately, and I feel like it's probably the best place I've been so far in life, and I would like to maybe live here.
I just feel like that means you haven't been enough places.
Sure, okay.
I also say that as a jaded New Yorker who every time I come here, I'm like, this fucking place.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did human feces just fall out of the sky onto my head? Why is this? I swear, every time I come here, I just feel like someone took a doo-doo on my forehead.
You feel that way because it happened?
Emotionally.
Yeah.
There's an emotional poop on my face.
There was a guy on the subway who spat onto the floor of the subway and then like rubbed it in with his feet 5 or 6 times.
And
right
he wasn't
opposite me.
masturbating at the same time?
No, he had his hands, he was actually listening to what I can only presume was his own rap song. Because it was definitely not a song that had been publicly released.
Was it on cassette?
It was like out of his iPhone, but it sounded very homemade.
Was he not wearing earphones so everyone could hear it?
Yeah, everyone could hear it. But you know what? I think if that had been on the tube, I would have felt very annoyed and really like, ugh. But here I was like, you know what? This is your turf.
Because you expect New Yorkers to be trash is what you're saying.
I'm just saying,
I expect these people to be disgusting and disrespectful.
I think maybe the etiquette is different on our public transport systems. But if that had been like on the district line, I would have gone, how dare you? In that exact voice.
You shall not pass.
Yeah, I would.
I can't believe you just sounded like Gandalf for a second.
Yeah, that's how my mum talks when she's talking to her mum.
Oh, I get that. And that's how I talk to my mom and my mom's mom and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, first of all, I just want to lay the ground rules that everyone in America is mystified by a British accent.
In a good way?
Obsessed. Obsessed.
Have you found this, Stu? I feel like it's more for guys though. Like I feel like if Seb were to walk around and be like, oh, I'm a doctor from the UK.
Well, the problem is he has this like royal blonde hair thing.
He does have a royal. Yeah,
it's
he
so
is
Prince
blonde.
Harry. If he honestly walked in somewhere and if we pretended to have paparazzi, everyone would think he was Prince Harry without a doubt.
Really?
I think so.
Wait, but Prince Harry's kind of like Parma ham. It's kind of like there's a ruddiness to it. There's an intense pinkness, and also an orangeness.
Should we let Seb know this?
Yeah, but I don't think that Seb has that kind of vibe. He is pink though, for sure.
But to Americans, you have to understand, we're so dumb.
We're so pink.
Like, yeah, we're just so... People don't really know what anyone looks like. They just kind of have an idea.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
It's more about auras.
It's honestly an energy
I think Americans
thing.
are very spiritual in that way because...
it's a vibe thing.
They just vibe, yeah. They're like, I think your vibe is famous.
Yeah, that's correct.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I think
very
that's
interesting.
100% the gist. It's weird for me to be back
Yes.
because everywhere I go, there has been some sort of emotional moment for me on every street corner. So it's like there are just ghosts on every street corner. I'm like, I broke up with a guy in that corner. I jerked a guy off on that street corner. I vomited my brains out over there. Like I got like drugged over there. Like you just like I bought coke from a guy in a black car over there. Like you just remember all
like
these
a
moments.
jigsaw of memories.
It just like washes over me and I'm like, what am I doing here?
Do you feel like that is a different version of yourself to the person that you are now? Or do you feel that that is just kind of...
I also just want to say I bought that cocaine for an ex-boyfriend that I dated for 1.5 weeks for his birthday.
Like very much not of that vibe anymore.
No, I'm not like a drug person, but I am a shroom person because that's not drugs.
That's not to disrespect people that are on drugs every day.
No, and respect
we love them, we respect them, we think they have a voice, we think their voice counts.
I honestly
absolutely do drugs every day.
100%. They just made weed legal here. So if you're a drug person, more power to you. I remember drug dealers. I remember when weed people had to come to your house. It was crazy. There were
Drug dealers have houses?
No, they came to your apartment to sell you weed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. Like you would let drug dealers into your house. They'd open their suitcase, and inside the suitcase, they'd like unwrap tinfoil, and it would just be like, here's acid, here's shrooms, here's meth, here's weed. Like weed was just as bad as heroin, basically.
Well, it was in the same briefcase.
It was in the same briefcase, and they'd come over like a magician, like a traveling salesman, just with this like steel, like obvious steel briefcase. And the guy who would bring you the weed would look like he just time traveled here.
Sure, yeah.
Like so disheveled, like wearing a homeless looking coat.
Yeah.
Just
it's
like
also
shredded.
Confusing to me.
It's bizarre.
And were those people doing any of the drugs?
They had to have been on everything at the same time, I imagine.
I've seen some insane cars.
What does that mean?
It means like Mustangs. Well, Seb keeps on pointing out that's a Mustang, and I'm like,
I can't believe that that's an insane car to you.
what's a Mustang? And with like neon lights in the windows, like framing the windows, and like chrome pink tires.
Well, everyone in New York is like a little mentally ill, you know? So everyone just try to stand out. It's like being crazy here doesn't make you crazy.
Yeah, this is what I'm getting actually. I'm getting the vibe of like being everybody here, wherever I go, looks like people in really Shoreditch East London.
You're also staying in deep Brooklyn, and you've only been downtown. So that's the vibe up here.
Okay.
Definitely not the vibe uptown.
Okay, I don't really know. It's like you're talking a different language.
I know. This is how I feel when we're in England. You guys are like, and then we went to the palace for brunch. Like, I don't know what you're talking. Like, I just like in my head, everything is literally the royal family or Harry Potter, and that's it. And I know you guys hate that, but that is the truth.
It's the truth. It's your truth.
It's my truth, and most Americans' truth, to be honest.
My truth about this city is that it's like very beautiful, but I want to like. I feel like I've just been floating.
I mean, you've been here for 3 minutes.
Yeah. Seb has asked, Stu has asked, how do you feel about Seb walking around now? Do you think he's cheating on you now? Okay.
I would say he's definitely cheating on you.
Okay, so what happened was he came in, we were meeting, everyone was here saying hello.
It was my first time meeting Seb, by the way.
What were your first impressions of him?
Taller than I thought. Very cute. He just has the essence of like a Cheerio. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, he so does.
Like I could just see him in a pub with a beer, like a pint glass.
His whole persona is it's that noise.
Yeah,
it's like not quite breathing out properly.
Yeah, it's
because he doesn't want to be rude.
Right. And also it's like he could be royal or he could be the guy at the football match with a pint of beer.
He is the football guy, unfortunately.
But aren't they all?
Yeah. Is Adam here?
Yeah.
Well, we're all going to hang out, I guess.
I know. And tomorrow when Adam and Seb have to be sent on their merry way together.
Oh my God. The thing is, Seb loves, I kind of worry sometimes about leaving him alone with other people.
That's how I feel about Adam.
Is that so sad? That's like so insulting to say that about Seb, but like.
And it's insulting to say about Adam, but I do wonder. I'm like, well, if I leave him alone, how will he talk to people?
Yeah, like I was so afraid when my stepdad invited Seb to a football match, and I was like, what do you mean you two are just going to be alone together for 4 hours?
They won't say a single word to each other.
Yeah, I'm just like, you're what?
Because we're supposed to give them
without me.
No, we're supposed to give them permission to speak. So
it's
if they don't have permission,
trying to make a fire with like a stone and a glass of water.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
It's not going to happen.
So they're just going to sit next to each other and not say anything.
Well, they'll talk about football, I guess.
What team is Seb?
Manchester United, but like knows so much about football that it's like he can. Do you think that's going to be a problem?
Yeah, it's going to be a problem because Adam's Arsenal.
But they're not rivals, are they?
Yeah, they don't like each other very much.
But then Seb is quite good friends with Jacob Hawley, who's like a very big Arsenal fan.
So they could get past it. They could see through their differences.
I feel like there could be a redemptive arc.
Well, here's the thing is that all three of you, well, 4 of you really, but you're going to be here, not with the boys when they get ventured and go cheat on us in the wild because they can't speak to each other. They can only just have sex with other women.
Yeah.
See, the thing is that you have the pleasure of just getting to know New York for the first time. Meanwhile, I'm here just like I'm like an old whore of New York.
Yeah.
Like old whore wives
of
New York
too
City.
Fast?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I know. I took note and I will remember this. I seared into my memory.
Yeah, just stow it away for later.
Whore wives of New York City.
Don't do anything about it now, but let the anger snowball.
I keep trying to make this joke and you won't let me, and I think that's for the best, honestly. like on my way here, I walked by where I lived for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be the super mom and pop block where all the restaurants and all the bars were all independently owned and they'd been there forever. It was a different time.
Yeah.
And I used to live below this restaurant called Schiller's where it was just like a haunt. Everyone would be there all the time. Almost like when you were kids, you could kind of just show up at your friend's house.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's how it felt. Like you would just show up and everyone you know would be there. It felt like you were out of an episode of Friends.
Yeah. The whole cast was there.
The whole cast was there. And then some. And I lived upstairs from that place in which is now illegal, 6th floor walk up.
So you're not allowed to walk up 6 floors anymore.
If they have a building that's now built, it has to have an elevator.
I think that's very ethical.
6 floors, my ass was incredible.
I bet.
There was one time I left my phone upstairs and I was just like, well, that's it. I'm not going upstairs to get my phone.
That's so Amish of you.
Thank you. Amish.
That's so Amish of you.
So Amish of me. No, and that's where I lived with this fucking, I lived with a heroin addict.
Just you and him?
And a third roommate. There was like a rotating door of people. And I couldn't even believe it. It was one bathroom to 3 people and he would leave like his beard trimmings on the sink and on the floor.
No,
and his pubes in the toilet.
No.
It's like, just flush the toilet, my
at
guy.
least he was trimming. Self-care king.
It's so gross. He was so, and I remember when I didn't know he was on heroin, to be fair.
Sure.
So he hid it really well for like a year.
To be on heroin as well. I'm just like, you can very easily hide like habitually using basically any other drug.
Heroin's pretty hard to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was doing a good job of that. And then he went on tour with his band, as you do.
God, congratulations to him.
Yeah, in Europe. And he got fired in the first 2 days.
Oh no.
And then he got sent back to America. And that's when he absolutely bottomed out.
He hit rock bottom.
Oh, for sure.
You've got to hit it though, I've heard.
It's either you die or you hit rock bottom. It's like one or the other.
For the lucky ones, I guess.
Yeah. And at this time, I was working at the corporate headquarters of a bank.
Yeah,
LOL.
you've had so many lives. I love it.
It's crazy because when you think about it, it's like me at a bank. Like, did you know you can't wear a crop top to a bank? So I almost tried to get fired. They would not fire me. I'm like, how hard is it to find good help? I'm like, I show up 2 hours late to a corporate job. I don't answer my phone. I barely answer emails. I show up in a crop top.
Yeah.
I have the fun desk. Like everyone would stop by to talk to me.
You're the personality hire.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. You know, because I would tell jokes when people would come in.
Yeah.
Without knowing what I was doing.
Like, where's your fucking money, you poor bitch?
Yeah, like, are you my new sugar daddy? Ha ha ha. I know you're the CEO of HSBC,
so can I ask
but
you, so when you are overdrawn in your bank and you go to the bank and you like ask, so I would like go, when I was really overdrawn, I would go to the bank.
I didn't work at a teller station.
I know, but like when you put your card in, can they see all of your details and all of your worst secrets?
So I worked at the corporate headquarters, which means
so
like
you're not seeing
the C-suite. No, I'm not seeing the paupers. There were like 12 people on a huge floor.
So I'm always the paupers.
No, I was never around the paupers. I don't even know how to say that word because it's not part of my lexicon.
Sure.
But to hang out with peasants seems truly beneath me. But here's the other thing I will say just to round out this story. So the night that he hit rock bottom, I was working this 9 to 5 job. So I was going to bed like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Midnight, 1 a.m., whatever. Waking up at like 8.
Yeah.
Miserably getting ready and going to the subway to get to work uptown. And at 5 in the morning, I hear crashing in the apartment. I think someone's breaking in and I'm fucking terrified. And I grab my laptop because at that point it was just basically a brick. So I was like using it as a weapon.
Okay. Wow.
That's like all I had. And I didn't know what to do. And I went out there and I just see him and his face looks like a Salvador Dali painting, just like a melted candle. Oh. And I was like, oh my God, I'm glad I'm not getting robbed. But he did eat all of my bagels and I was really mad about that.
Dry?
Went through the fridge. Yeah, he ate everything dry, which lets you know he was definitely strung out.
Oh my, to eat a bagel dry, you have to be emotionally,
physically empty.
You have to have nothing left to give the world.
No, nothing. It was...
You feel like everything's over. To not even butter a bagel?
No, it's almost like he could have just used the bagel to wipe his tears away, but instead...
Bagels are so absorbent. They absorb every
You can exfoliate with a bagel if you want to.
Yeah.
You could use it as a loofah.
You could so use a bagel as a loofah.
And these were old bagels.
Especially an everything bagel.
Let's go.
I'm going to buy some all everything bagel seasoning.
You're going to have so many bagels this week.
Please carry on with the story though.
So I come out, he's like, the band dropped me and now I'm back. My life is over. And I was like, okay, like what's going on? And then he stands up, he gets up onto our couch with his sneakers, which by the way, like has cigarette holes in it. Like it's already kind of like a shithole.
But it's also
it's disgusting.
An unspoken rule that you don't really do that.
Spoken.
Yeah,
it's a spoken rule. That is what trash people do.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then he says, I'm a god.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I'm a god. And then jumps onto our coffee table. The coffee table shatters into a million pieces. He falls onto his back, laying on the floor, looking up. And I just go, now you've hit rock bottom.
Yeah, that's RB for sure.
Okay. The next morning, he acts as if nothing has happened. I look over and I just see the smithereens at the table. And he's like, so I just looked up on IKEA some new tables. So you want to go 50-50 on it?
No.
I was like, no, I don't think so. I think I didn't break it.
I think I didn't think I was God.
Yeah. And he goes, all right, 80-20.
No.
And I was like, He goes 90-10 and you have to be here for the delivery.
What?
And it's crazy that it still took me 6 months to move out.
I know, but the thing is, life is hard.
Life is hard. And then also on top of that, like 6 years later, I found out he was making amends to people. Like he was going through the 12 steps.
It was My Name is Erling people.
Yeah. And his ex-girlfriend and I have remained friends. We've always remained friends. She's incredible. And she's incredible. We remained friends and she hit me up and she said, you're never going to believe this. He just gave me an amends. And I was like, are you fucking... I was furious. I was like...
What do you think it is about you?
But I ran into him 2 years ago in New York. So he had the chance to even say something. And he just like, hey, how are you? And I was like, do you not think...
He thinks you owe him amends for not going 90-10
I
on
owe
the
him
coffee
a coffee table.
Yeah, you don't. But I think it's so amazing that you lived with someone that like fully went through a reformation of themselves and you weren't accounted for.
No, he didn't
They were
even
like,
think
you know what?
for a second that he owed me an
I
apology.
didn't wrong her. We're even.
He was like, if anything, I added to her presence.
Do you think that you existed before you were born?
Just a quick philosophical debate on a very basic topic that's not deep at all.
My theory is, I think some people did, but not me.
Do you think you're a new soul?
I think I'm new.
I think I'm an old soul.
I think you're... Oh, yeah, I think you're kind of an old soul. But do you think that you were an old soul when you were like 10?
That's what they say to people who've been molested. So yes.
That's so true.
It's really...
It's when they like people called me an old soul when I was 10 and it just meant
they thought that
I couldn't make friends
you
with people my own
inappropriately.
age. I was talking to the teachers.
Yeah, same.
They were like, old soul equals fucking loser.
Yeah. Or their explanation of why they had sex with a child accidentally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
like,
fucking hate that. She's such an old soul. I mean, she's 25. She's got a tight bod, but she's an old soul for sure.
I feel like I'm an old soul who's had some Botox. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where like
yeah.
my soul
do you think
feels
your souls-
rejuvenated.
do your souls had Botox?
I think my soul had Botox. It was like, it
The
feels...
angels did injectables on your soul.
Yes. That's how I feel. I feel like I went to a really good nurse practitioner in heaven. And God was like, you know what? I'm going to breathe some life back into your soul.
Trained in heaven.
Yeah.
And she advertised for you on Heaven Instagram.
I
and
get
you-
all the Instagram ads
for Heaven.
Oh no, for soul injectables.
I kind of think that in a parallel universe, injectables is my calling.
Are you giving them to people?
Yeah.
I could see that. I
just-
could see you being like
An injectable person.
yeah.
Okay, so do you think you exist before you're born? I think you kind of do, but you exist like not consciously. Like you are like, because matter just changes,
It
right?
cannot be created nor destroyed.
Exactly.
So some may argue that we've always been here, and every psychic I've ever spoken to, which is so many,
because you're doing so well.
Yeah.
And everyone's so proud of you and you're always making great decisions.
Yes. When I gave up my therapist and called many psychics instead, I felt like the money was going to the right place.
Yeah.
Spiritually, I felt like I was really investing in myself, in my soul. But they always say, you know, I used to ask if I was going to have kids.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure. I'm like, am I gonna, like, if so, like what age, like how many will I have, this sort of thing. And they'll be like, yeah, there's 2 up there. They're waiting for you. And they'll come when they're ready and when you're ready. And I'm just like, okay, so if that's true for the kids that I will have.
Pre-heaven.
Yeah. So I'm like, so then there must be a preschool for our souls.
Yeah. So do you think that I kind of think I was in pre-heaven, but like I was there for a long time.
You were just, how did you decide to go to your mom? You had so long to choose, you know?
I think I chose my mum because I was like, my mum is really good at giving presents.
I think in a past life, I was an old man named Irving.
Really? Have you seen Severance? There's an old man called Irving. Oh my God. And when he dreams, it's like paintings melting through his brain.
Oh my God.
I kind of just made that up, but it is kind of true. But it's so good.
Wait, was that me?
Maybe.
Let's wrap up our podcast today with our word of the week. Why do I can't?
Why do I can't? Why do I can't?
Okay, let's wrap up the podcast today with a word of the week. And that word is corporal reality?
Corporeality?
Corporeality. Oh, wait. So does that mean, I'm going to make a guess. My guess is that corp, like your body. Yeah. Your body is, the reality that your body is facing is not necessarily the reality that your brain perceives.
I think you're overcomplicating it. I think that it's just like the nature of being in a bod.
Stu. Over to producer Stu.
The fact of being or of being real.
That's so boring.
Who was closer?
And again, another episode where we've learned nothing.
Rats of the Roundtable is a Turtle Canyon comedy production produced by me, Stuart Laws. Please rate, review, subscribe, share the podcast so that more people can listen to it. Thank you very much for supporting.